This is my experience with Apple's flagship headphones, the top of the line AirPods Max, and why I've had to have 3 replacements in 2 years. Starting in 2021, my first AirPods Max pair worked fine before they turned off and stopped turning on. I have AppleCare Plus, so I was able to set up an express replacement, and I got a new pair shipped to me. It took a little under a month to get my express replacement because Apple seemed to have no stock of these things at the time, so I got my new AirPods Max and they seemed to work fine. Then a few months later, the battery failed, and I had to get them replaced again. I waited about 6 months to get them replaced because I genuinely didn't care to use the things, and I didn't want to deal with it, but I knew that my 2-year AppleCare Plus would be running out soon, so I decided to get them replaced a third time, and the problems came back not even 15 minutes after I unboxed the AirPods. When I got my replacement headphones, I started to unbox and use them, and then after about 15 minutes, they cut off, and I was just unable to connect the things to my phone. I had to do a full reset on the headphones to make them simply pair again, and I thought that they would work just fine after that, but unfortunately that's not where this ends. Every time I've tried to adjust the headphones, they've shut off, and after a few of those times, they've decided to automatically reset, which is annoying because not only do I have to deal with the whole setup process, but I also have to go through the really annoying process of disabling all the stuff that Apple enables with a new pair of AirPods. Since this is a consistent problem, I'm assuming that this is just a factory defect. But the reliability of these headphones is already more than enough for me to never want to use them again, but the headphones themselves are pretty bad too. I'm going to explain the things that matter most first. The case that Apple provides with these things is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen. It's not even a case, it's just a bunch of magnets that turn the headphones off and on. It's plain stupid. It's bad enough where I went on Amazon and I bought a third-party case that provides actual protection. I've never got a pair of headphones that just don't come with a proper carrying case, and I've had a good amount of headphones in the past. Secondly, these things have the most uncomfortable cushions that I've ever felt on a pair of headphones. They're this type of fabric which Apple charges $70 to replace. These things are uncomfortable as it is, but the other problem is that they fall apart. Months after I got my AirPods Max, in 2021, the ear cushions started to rip, under what already was light usage, and if I wanted to go through Apple to deal with this, I'd be paying $70 for a set of these. I've looked for 2 years and I still can't find any leather third-party alternatives to these ear cushions for sale. The third problem is the weight. The AirPods Max are made mainly out of aluminum and stainless steel, so they are very heavy compared to other headphones. The weight makes it harder to carry them around, and it makes them more uncomfortable under longer periods of usage. It also means that the aluminum will dent and scratch if they're thrown around too much, and while plastic headphones can fall apart and scratch up easily if they're not taken care of, the AirPods Max show damage and wear very easily. The headphones actually clack together due to how they're built, which is another stupid design flaw that these things have. Fourth, I'm just going to put this in because it is an existing problem. To get a wired connection, I can't just use my Lightning to USB-C cable, but I have to buy a Lightning to auxiliary cable from Apple. What about the third parties? Don't they work too? Well, when I tried to use a third-party cable, it didn't work at all. I'm sure that some companies have made cables, but I surely wasn't able to get one when I needed one. That Lightning to auxiliary cable from Apple, it's $35, and I didn't buy it. Speaking of Lightning, I wish that Apple would just give up and update their port to something that's better. Even a second generation of Lightning with faster charging and some better data transfer speeds would be great, but USB-C would be even better, as that would mean these headphones should be able to connect directly to a computer with a single cable without using aux. I don't consider that a big problem because most devices have Bluetooth nowadays, but it's just one of those things that just doesn't make sense. My fifth problem is the price. I don't like talking about the price of new Apple products because I know people will always call Apple overpriced, but these headphones deserve to be called overpriced. They have no redeeming qualities, as I'll get more into the sound quality later. The headphones really are just a design showcase of Apple's refusal to make something normal looking. For $550, there are so many better options available, but there seems to be no rhyme or reason to why these headphones are so expensive. I have a really hard time believing that these things cost more than $300 to manufacture, and the only thing that I got for the price was the Apple name and a stupid case. Now I'm going to talk more on the design and build quality of these headphones. I'm really glad that these headphones haven't fully caught on in design because they look dumb, and I don't know why people say otherwise. The design is basically two long metal pieces with a funny looking band holding them together. There's no Apple logo on these things, and while the build quality itself is nice, having high quality materials and no creaking noises like other headphones have had, they're still more expensive and honestly worse in every other way than competing headphones. And I'll say this, I've been using a pair of Sennheiser headphones for a little while now, and the build quality is up to par with AirPods Max. They're not aluminum, they're plastic, but they make no creaking noises, and they show wear a lot less than the AirPods Max. Apple has also been doing what many would call shady things with these headphones on the software side of things. Apple has apparently been downclocking the noise canceling on these with software updates. My question there is, why do headphones need software updates? They have one job, and that one job is to deliver audio. They're not phones, and they shouldn't need software updates. What's the worst part about this? There doesn't seem to be a way to disable these software updates. They're just forced onto the headphones. And what is the point in doing this, if they really are doing this, when there's no second generation AirPods Max available? They can't really compete with AirPods Pro. They're two different categories of headphones. So I don't know why Apple is allegedly doing these things. With that said, I have a hard time believing that they're actually doing that stuff, but I'll just put that in there because it could be happening. Since these came out in late 2020, Apple has released two pair of AirPods, the AirPods 3rd generation and the AirPods Pro 2nd generation. And from my own experience, both of those AirPods have things that they do definitively better than AirPods Max. Besides comfort, my AirPods Pro 2s have better noise canceling, adaptive EQ, and adaptive transparency mode, which the AirPods Max just lack. On to sound quality, the last thing that I'm going to talk about. This is where things start looking up slightly, but not for long, because the sound quality is just pretty good. As far as wireless headphones go, I've heard all sorts of headphones that sound comparable to the AirPods Max. Back in 2016, I had a pair of Bose QC35s, which sounded about the same as these. Then, in 2015, my Bowers & Wilkins P5s sounded about the same, or even better than the AirPods Max actually, but those are wired, so it's an unfair comparison. When I had Bose's NC700s in around 2019, they sounded about the same, and I really liked the NC700s for what they were. I also had a pair of Sony XM4s which I returned to purchase the AirPods Max, which sounded about the same. If I were to replace the AirPods Max, I'd probably buy another pair of Bose NC700s, because they were more comfortable, they came with a proper case, they had USB-C, and while I ended up having to refund them through a warranty claim, I really enjoyed them while I had them. The funny part about all of those headphones, though, is that they're all at least $170 cheaper than the AirPods Max.